All right, I have the Tiger, Bruno Souza, on the show now, who's going to be fighting next at UFC Fight Night Columbus on March the 26th when he meets Luis Saldana. Bruno, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Couldn't be better. And now I'm better because I'm talking to you.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the time. I'm excited for this fight. I'm excited to see you back in the octagon. First, let's just start with camp. How has it been thus far? How healthy are you feeling?
Yeah, like I told somebody yesterday, I was like, I'm always going to answer that this is the best camp of my life. But this time, I'm being 100% honest. Like, it's the first time that I have the PI taking care of my diet and everything. So Nicole from PI is doing fantastic job. Doing nutritionist, icon music, sending the all my meal prep. So like everything's going smooth. The first time that I had like 8 weeks training camp. So like I couldn't be better. No injuries, no excuses. All set.
That's great to hear. As far as your training partners, same guys as normal, or have you had a few new bodies to get some working with?
I had one new body, Miguel, really good striker, but usually we are blessed actually on CMMA. We have a bunch of people. So if we need a long striker, we have. If we need a short wrestler, we have. So like any time that we need some type of profile, we have in there. So it's pretty much the same people all the time.
Is there anybody specific that's been able to kind of emulate Saldana, someone that's very close in stature to him?
Yeah, like we have Diego, really good long striker, a little bit heavier, but again, we have bunch of people that have been helping me, So yeah, definitely.
I understand you have Victor Henry in your camp as well. He had a nice win recently. Has he been around much?
Yeah, a lot. Like he's trying to emulate him, but Vic is a little bit shorter. So even though Vic can move a lot and he didn't show it, but he had such a great taekwondo style. But he's helping, of course. Yeah, I always move around with him. Today I was moving around with him. He trying to emulate, but because of the height, he's not the main training partner. But 100%, we help each other so much.
Gotcha. What is that cut like for you to get down to featherweight? Is it fairly easy?
It's easy. Yeah, it's being so easy. Like right now, my weight is. I never been so. Again, this is the first time that I have 8 weeks training camp, so I'm dieting since then, and I don't cheat. I love junk food. Love. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll eat right now, but I don't let myself cheat. So I'm like what 8, 9 weeks doing like everything right. So my weight never been so low, and I never felt so strong. So I'm good with that. Nicole, the lady from the PI that is taking care of me, she even was texting me like, let's eat more, like let's eat more carbs. Or like I'm a little bit more than a week for the fight, and someone is telling me to eat more carbs. Usually we are cutting everything right now. So yeah, I'm feeling great.
Have you ever considered maybe going down to 135? Is that even an option?
We were talking about this early in my career. I shoot 100%. I was a 35er fighting 145. Now right now I get too big, right? When I'm not doing diet, just training regular, I get really big. I go to 180, So I told you I like to eat. Go to 35. It would be an option. Let's say I would need like three months to go down good, without dying, or I would have to leave in a diet, So it's an option, yes, but it's not for right now. I don't believe I would do a career on 35. I would definitely drop for some opportunity, but I don't know, like 45, I still can enjoy life, and still fight enough a week.
That makes sense. Which division do you think is deeper? I mean, every division in the UFC at this point is extremely good and very, very deep. But when you look at bantamweight versus featherweight, which division do you believe has more talent?
I think the bantamweight right now, it's a little bit underrated probably because of the situation with the champ, with Petrian and Aljo. So they are like back and forth. But if you look at them, they have like everybody. They have like champions that like Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo, TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz, like all of them are like right there.
Okay, let's talk about featherweight. This is your division right now. This is what you're focused on. Alex Volkanovski, he's the champion. He's taking on Korean Zombie here soon. Do you believe he retains? A lot of people do. And if he does, what is next for him? Is that third matchup with Holloway around the corner? Should that be the next one?
It's hard to say, right? Like the featherweight, you have two champs. You gotta say you have two champs. It's just like middleweight that you have Adesanya and Whitaker. We will have to go. I think he retained the title, right? Korean Zombie, I'm a huge fan of him, but I think Volkanovski have a really hard style to beat. You know, he can do everything good. He's not phenomenal or anything, but if you need to pressure, he will. If you need to back up, he will. If you need to take it down, he will do everything that he needs to win. It kind of look like GSP, you know, like the idea of maybe not the most excited, but he will make everything that he needs to win. So I think yes, and I think Holloway, he had a fight schedule and it dropped. But so yeah, I think that the third, it's gonna be this, or Volkanovski needs to go up or do something else, you know, because it's gonna be in a limbo, which is good for us that are trying to climb. As better the limbo up there is better for us. You know, look at middleweight. You have people just being thrown to Adesanya over and over because there is nobody else, you know. So I think it's a good scenario for me.
So when you look at your future here, obviously you're dialed in on Saldana right now. That's all you're focused on, but you're only 26 years old. Like, how do you see yourself evolving in this division here over the next year or two?
No, 100%. I'm focusing on Saldana, but it's like a company, right? We are business. Like I say that all the time. Fighters, we are our own business, so we have to plan ahead, even though we have a challenge right now. What I think right now, as you said, I'm 26 years old. I'm still young. I need to fight, no matter who, no matter how, no matter when, no matter where. If I'm healthy, I need to be fighting, because the only thing that I cannot get in the mats are experience. So I need to be doing that over and over again, you know, after this fight, maybe fight as soon as I can, you know. So that's what I'm thinking of, right? Like, and then the matchups is not with me. I just want to fight, you know.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about that UFC debut. We've only seen you inside the octagon once now. That was a UD loss to Melsick at UFC 268, which was an amazing card, by the way. Usman Covington, the headliner there. Well, what are the takeaways from that setback?
I think that I took away I found on that fight, I found the last puzzle that I needed to my game, you know, because I know I can strike, I know I can grapple, I know I can wrestle, I know I can do everything technically, and I know I can perform. But the thing that was missing on my game was confidence. I was like, yes, I was like hesitating a little bit to pull the trigger. On that fight, fighting Melsick in 6 days notice, he was getting ready to fight. I was not. I was just like eating pizza. So full of injuries. And they called me. I'm like, that's the fight that you cannot say no. That's like, remember, I didn't have a contract. So I'm like, yes, I can make weight. I asked, yeah, I'll try my best, you know. So it fight him. I rewatched the fight like 3 days ago. I was like, okay, it was not that bad. Like I thought, the feeling that I had after the fight that I did nothing, I was like, okay, I fought worse than that already. I fought pretty good. So against one of the best strikers in the division, and he still fought my game, because the game plan for that fight, I needed to slow him down because I was not getting ready to fight. So I need to drag him a little bit deeper in the fight. And we did. I just pulled the trigger too late. Like the third round was mine. Second round, I could put the trigger a little bit earlier to win 2 and 3, you know. So I was like, okay, I still made him fight my game, even though I didn't train. We didn't have a chance to game plan or everything. We're just talking about it. Like I can do that, you know. So like the confidence that I got on that fight, it's what I'm taking away from the rest of my life.
Yeah, okay, very well said. I appreciate you diving into that right there. You hear a lot of fighters talk about octagon jitters the first time they fight on the big stage, which is the UFC, that it's just different. Did you feel that at all?
No. Like of course it felt it's big, but I gotta say, LFA put you in such good position. It get you used to. If you fight enough in LFA, they're gonna get you used to that status, that attention, you know, like I fought 2 main events on LFA, so everybody's talking about you, you know, you go do interviews, you do all the media that you have to do. So I fought 5 rounds, I fought in front of a big crowd. So everything there, it's when I fought in the UFC, it felt the same. It's nice when you rewatch it. When you rewatch from the outside, then you have Bruce Buff calling you out. Then you have DC and Joe Rogan talking about your fight. You know, that's nice. When you rewatch the weigh-ins and the face-off, because like I'm a fan of the sport, so I used to watch all the weigh-in shows and everything since I'm a kid. So when you rewatch everything, it's amazing. When you were in there, you're just so focused that I couldn't feel like the best compliment from that fight is that people were saying like it felt that you belonged there, like felt that was normal, and was exactly what it felt. Doesn't matter which letters in the middle of the octagon. It's just an octagon, a guy, a referee, and that's it, you know.
Are you hoping at some point to run it back with Melsick?
I don't like too much rematches. Of course, if it makes sense, yes. You know, I believe he can do a better fight than that. I believe, of course, that I can do a better fight than that. You know, if it makes sense in the future, yes. But it's not something that I like. New challenge, like everything new. You know, but of course, let's say we need to do a title eliminator. Of course, they're gonna fight him. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's talk about this next one. UFC Fight Night Columbus, March 26th. Who will be in your corner come fight night? Who's making the trip with you to Ohio?
My dream team. I will have Coelho, which used to be my head coach in Brazil. He's the jiu-jitsu coach from Davidson Figueiredo, the flyweight champion. And he's been with me since my second professional fight. Chad George, which is with me in pretty much in 4 of my 5 fights in the LFA. Like since we changed the key, like that, he was one of the biggest responsible of everything that I concrete there, you know. And Lyoto Machida, the first time that he's gonna be walking out with me. So because he's always have, of course, agenda, but as they booked his fight for May, I was like, hey, can you go? And he was like, yeah, of course. So that's my dream team. So they are the 3 people the 3 people most important in my entire career. Lyoto is the one that I started why I do nowadays. Master Coelho is the one that changing my first time, you know, like I lost my first fight, and with him we won like a bunch in Brazil. And Chad George is the one that is take care of me in Brazil, is my head coach nowadays, you know, for CMMA. So it's my dream team.
That's very cool. My father was a huge fan of Lyoto Machida. I am as well. But yeah, one of the all-time greats right there. So very, very cool. Let's talk about Luis Saldana. He's 15-7. He's 1-1 in the UFC. What kind of a fighter is he? What are you expecting come fight night?
He's a long striker, and we kind of look for the same things in a fight, right? He liked the long distance. He want to pick apart. He had a good jab, kicks. He likes to be long, and I do too. So what I believe is that the first one of us that find the range gonna be one step ahead all the time, you know. So in the beginning, I think it's gonna be a little bit fast. We're gonna put some punches in each other. The first one that find the distance is the one that is gonna be one step ahead.
Okay. And do you believe, obviously, that you're going to be the one to find that distance? Like, how do you ultimately you see this fight playing out? How do you get your hand raised?
I like a lot, like not mine, but the karate footwork. So we can cover a lot of distance with that. And I can look like I'm closer, but now I can look like I'm farther, but I still can hit you. So that's how, and it's not only for Luis, for all my fights, that's my biggest key point, you know, my footwork. I like to improve that all the time, because it's the criticism that I do, that my majority of the fighters, they don't actually pay attention to footwork. They go there, they walk into it, and they start punching each other. So they don't actually know how to cut angles or actually in and out without getting hit, you know. So, because they used to train like boxing, Muay Thai, boxing, they're fight in the ring. Ring is short, octagon is bigger, so you have more area to work around, you know. That's what I believe. Sorry.
I love it. I can't wait for this one. I'm going to be watching that footwork come fight night. Again, the Tiger, Bruno Souza meets Luis Saldana, March of 26 at UFC Fight Night Columbus. Really a pleasure interviewing you for the first time, man. Before I do let you go, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
No, yeah, like social media is my Instagram is Bruno Souza MMA and Twitter is MMA Bruno. My sponsors, Crazy Boxers, is the main one. You know, like I would never imagine I would be a box model, and I am. So if you look there, don't be scared. You know, it's just me. And of course, I appreciate like the PI and Icon Meal that they are doing for they are with me for a while. You know, so they're doing great job.